Ooh, I look terrible. It's the cold. I look like I just got up. I've been up for 2 hours. But I've actually been up for longer than that because I was laying awake thinking about the little horse I went to see. So finally a horse shopping update that's not sad. I did really like this little horse that I went to see yesterday. I was feeling like it was kind of an act of desperation to even go look at a long yearling. She's a yearling. She's just a baby. She's just a kid. To even go do that, because it's so, like, when I think like what I'm looking for, it's not a baby. But I went to go see her because it just for a variety of reasons. I mean, multiple people know the horse. She looked super nice in her videos, and so I just was like, well, she was close. That made it nice. So I went to go see her, and I did really like her, and so I'm just like, I think what I was thinking about last night was that I'm really having a hard time making this decision, and I've been thinking about that a lot, and I think it's different. I woke up with it being different in my heart this morning, because previously it was an easy decision in that I looked at all those, I've only looked at 3 other horses, but the other 3 horses that I looked at, I was like, nope, not this one, and it's pretty easy, like the one that I wanted to go look at that has pigeon fever, it's pretty easy to be like, nope, not that one, at least not today, this is the first time that I've gotten to where I can't find, the only hole really is that she's a baby, and so that means 1, that I've got to start her myself, and 2, that she's gonna be it's gonna be a slower path than I thought at this point. I'm not sure how much slower, because I'm looking at waiting for another 6 months. So then somehow, because YouTube literally hears what you're working on, I ended up watching a couple videos yesterday that were like, how to make a hard decision. And it did dawn on me that I'm trying to make this like a fact-based decision. I'm trying to make this into a math problem, and about what is the most logical thing to do. And it's not, the most logical thing to do is never to buy a horse. That's the most logical thing to do. Never buy a horse. Run away. And from all of them, they will break your heart and take all your money. But this isn't, so this isn't a logic-based decision, and I've been trying to make it a logic-based decision, because I don't make my decisions based on anything other than logic. And I was thinking about, and it never occurred to me, but I listened to this video yesterday that was like, well, confronted with 2 options that are difficult to choose between, that are kind of equally as good of each other, and from a logical perspective, most people are just going to do the safer thing. And I was like, yeah, it's so true, because the safer thing is to just not buy her. And then my fear-based reaction was like, don't buy any horse at all. And then, so, especially because this week I have been feeling so overwhelmed about life, so I'm like, do I even want to take on another horse right now? I've asked myself that a lot lately. So I don't know. I think that there's like at least 50% of that in my hesitation. The other 50% is just, it's daunting to think about starting a 2-year-old next year. And then there's 30% of me that was like, oh, but I liked her so much. I liked it when she was blowing kisses into my ear and nickering at me. So, yep, that's kind of where I am. I guess I'm not anywhere with it, except that I'm definitely gonna take some time to think about it, and try to figure out what direction it is that my heart is tucking me. I mean, I think maybe my heart's tucking me in 2 different ways, because I think I do deep down want to buy her, and I think it is more than just my general desire. I do think that I felt like as soon as I put my hands on her, I was like, oh, I kind of like this one. I didn't like her that much when I first walked up to her, but then if you had seen where she was standing, it's not like a great place to show a horse. But then I don't know, I just liked her more when she wasn't standing in that tiny little pin. So I think I just liked this little horse. And if she was a year older, I told Rachel, I was like, if she was a year older, I'd be like, let's take her home. So then you're like, well, that tells you something important. And I did lay there and dream about the horse last night, which I have not, and imagined myself taking her home, which I have not done with a single one of the other horses. I couldn't either, whether it was emotionally or whether I just didn't like the horse. That has not happened to me. And last night I just laid there thinking about her. It wasn't necessarily anxiety driven. It wasn't like, oh, should I buy her or not? And filled with all this worry. Whereas the night before, it was definitely a worry. So then I was thinking this morning that I do need to prepare for my life to change. I need to be okay with that. I'm going to have a little bit less free time in some areas. Now, on the other hand, I won't be riding Iceman anymore, so that's going to be, I'm getting a couple hours from that. I won't be horse shopping anymore, which takes up a surprising amount of your time, and just your emotional bandwidth. So, but it's still going to be adding to, in a scenario where I already feel pretty overwhelmed. And then part of me is like, yeah, good shot. Part of me is like, yeah, but there's always a yeah, but. Part of me is like, but next semester hopefully won't. I mean, next semester is going to be a disaster, but I'm not going to have as much prep work. I hope. Please, because debate is done, and I have had less. I've had more grading to do, but I've had less prep work to do the last couple weeks because we got past week 8, and I already had everything weeks, I think. It was either week 9 or week 10 afterward. I already had all that prepped, something like that. So once I got to that point, I've just been like moving shit around, and it doesn't take anywhere near, it takes half the amount of time. And I had to write some like cover pages and stuff, that nothing catastrophic. Oh, and the other thing that's going to change in spring, I'm talking myself into this, aren't I? I just realized I'm totally talking myself into this horse, because the thing that's going to change in spring is that I'm going to be teaching all asynchronously. I don't know, maybe this is the perfect time in my life to bring home a 2-year-old. If I could get my schedule down, I'm going to have some time to bring that horse home. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. This is what's so crazy. It doesn't make any sense, but I think I'm gonna bring that horse home. I just liked her. It's so funny. I didn't want to walk away from her. I wanted to keep petting her. And that, I did feel a little bit that way with the chestnut horse that I looked at. I kind of wanted to I kind of didn't want to get off that one either. And I had a little bit, not that I do feel that way with a lot of horses, but like, I kind of already named her in my head. I couldn't even remember her name earlier because I've already started calling her Waverly in my head, and I think that'd be a perfect little name for her. It's not good. I don't know. If Julie gives me the okay, I think I'm going to buy that little horse. I didn't know that 8 minutes ago, but I think that's what I just woke up to as I was talking, because I just can't, it's her nose. I can't stop picturing her little nose. And I've noticed this about Wyatt, like, you're in love with something when you think its feet are cute, and I think Wyatt's feet are adorable, and those are his feet. I mean, feet aren't cute objectively, but like, I think Wyatt's, actually, what's so funny, I never noticed that. I think the dogs have cute feet too, although I think most dogs have cute feet. I'm like, oh, your cute little paws, your smushy little face. I don't know. And I actually kind of liked, Jesse was like, are you up for a horse that's a little bit bolder than the ones that you've had previously? Well, Wyatt's plenty bold in his own way. And I was like, I kind of am. Like, I'm a little tired of the fractious thing. And what I finally realized is that I'm a little tired of the fractious thing. And one of the things that I appreciate about Iceman is that he's always like, well, let's go. Like, he doesn't annoy me the way I would have thought that he would. I sort of like that he's like that. I sort of like that he's confident. I tend not to worry about him so much because I'm like, well, he'll take care of himself. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's only ever going to get to be so bad. again, I think I just decided that if Julie tells me I can do this, that I'm probably going to take that horse home. So I guess I need to go, and she already passed a vet, so I guess I need to go talk to Mike about that and see what he has to say. And yeah, I mean, Jessie liked this horse too. She was like, honestly, of the ones that, like, she's seen another one of the horses that I was looking at, and she's seen this one before in person. She's like, the mare's the nicer one on a couple different reasons. This horse, she's also pretty athletic. Like, and when I say that, I'm like, she's gonna be really athletic. She's not. You kind of could look at her and not just standing there. See, here's the thing: she's actually not in terrible shape. You look at her and see, she looks like kind of like a nice looking 2-year-old, like a little bit. I don't even want to say plain, but she is bay, so she's not, you know, in a herd of roan horses, she's not necessarily the first one you're going to be drawn to, but she's got pretty good conformation for a yearling. That's normally a really awkward stage, and she actually is not awkward, and she's pretty, she's just kind of a nice looking little horse. And her movement is flashy. Like, if she started trotting around, nobody's gonna miss you. She's pretty nice. Okay. It took me the last 3 minutes to admit that to myself.